What's good, y'all? It's Andre the Con. You know what's going on, and you are now tuned into the Con TV. So today I was on a run, and usually, like when I run or when I exercise, I get a whole bunch of ideas. I mean, a whole swarm of ideas that I really want to talk about, and different topics that I feel like I should put on the channel and just kind of give my thoughts on and everything. And while I was running, I came across this moment or this memory I had where I was talking to a friend a few months ago, like last month or 2 months ago on Instagram. And we were talking about men and emotion, like in being emotional and those kinds of things, right? And it was funny because she was like, I feel like she asked me if I was emotional. And I was like, well, I wouldn't say emotional, but it's not like I don't have feelings. It's not like I don't have emotions. I mean, emotions are, every human feels emotions. Every human has emotions. Like, it's inevitable. Like, if you are born and you don't have emotions, you are probably suffering from some kind of neuron deficiency, or like maybe some synapse in your brain is just fucked up. You know what I mean? But for the most part, you have emotion, And I was just really thinking about that because I feel like today men are more emotional. I feel like men are more expressive of their emotions today. And I think a lot of the time, women like to see a man be expressive of his emotions. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think there's a lot of potency in showing someone your emotions, let alone expressing your emotions. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's a healthy way to do it. And I also think there's unhealthy ways of doing it, And also too, man, sometimes when women be like, oh, a man who's in touch with his emotional side, bro, sometimes like you be like emotional to them and they don't even like it. You know what I mean? Like they don't really know what they're talking about when they say they like a man who expresses his emotions. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the time, well, I mean, maybe they do, but if you do it all the time, bruh, you know what I mean? Like, if you constantly expressing your emotions to her, like, bruh, like, there's a good chance you're gonna lose her. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I just wrote down some things that I really wanted to talk about men and emotions. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is being emotional is a weakness. Okay, not only is it a weakness when talking to women, but it's also a weakness in life. You know what I mean? If you're emotional in business, that's not a good state to be in, being emotional, especially when you're thinking with emotions and you're trying to make logic of your emotions. Usually when that happens, your mind is being like dysfunctional. You know what I mean? You're not thinking clearly enough. Obviously, when you feel rage or you feel frustration, when you feel sadness, you make decisions that wouldn't be the best rational and logical decisions. Okay. I just want to get that kind of like off the bat. You know what I mean? And the second thing is too, is like, because emotions are such powerful things to have and such powerful influences, you have to be cautious of who and what you give your emotions to. I'm gonna be real. A lot of women, let alone like just people in general, don't deserve my emotions. You know what I'm saying? They don't deserve to get that energy from me, because if someone is able to provoke emotion in you, they have some kind of control over you. You know what I'm saying? They have some kind of power to inflict damage upon you. You know what I mean? And it's natural, you know what I mean? Like sometimes, you might be on Twitter and like someone will say some fuck shit and you'll be like, wow, like that really hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? But what's the point of engaging with that person when you're in an emotional state? Your mind isn't going to be thinking as clearly. So you're going to make bad decisions. Your rationale isn't going to be as potent as you like. All right, that's the first thing I really wanted to say. With that being said, never suppress your emotions. When you feel something, the wrong thing to do is to suppress it. You have to repress it, hold it back for the moment. Suppressing is damaging, and it's like punching it all the way down. You know what I mean? Like if you feel rage in a certain moment, repress your emotions for the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like if you found out like your girl cheated on you, don't get all angry. You know what I'm saying? Don't, like, especially when you arguing with a woman. If you use emotion to argue with a woman, you now lost, bro. I'm telling you, like you now lost the argument. You know what I mean? If you are dealing with with a friend, you know what I mean, and you found out that they talked hella shit about you behind your back, the wrong thing to do is to react emotionally and be like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? Oh, like, you know what I mean? Get hella mad, get hella angry. Anger doesn't solve anything. Frustration, you know, being extremely angry and being extremely mad, that won't solve anything. What you have to do is you have to know when to distribute your emotions. And you also have to know when to express your emotions. Because if you're in a certain situation and you're feeling so like you feel your emotions just bottling up, you know what I mean? Like rage or anger, especially sadness or whatever, you have to remove yourself from that situation. So when you do find yourself feeling like, oh damn, you know, like I'm just super angry right now, you have to do your best to isolate yourself and clear your head. You know what I'm saying? That's the best thing you can do. And when you suppress your emotions, men will typically, they bottle up emotions. You know what I mean? Like a lot of old dudes, like back in the day, like men from like the 70s, 80s, 60s, all that type of shit. The reason why, I mean, maybe not a reason, but they would bottle up their emotions entirely. And I think that's something that I don't agree with that. Like, you can't bottle up your emotions. You have to be emotionally aware of how you're feeling. And that's always one thing that I always try to tell men is like, yo, be emotionally in tune to yourself, how you're feeling. You know what I mean? Because if you're aware of your emotions and how you feel, you can't let anybody else have control over your own emotions. You know what I'm saying? So never suppress your emotions, repress them, seek isolation, and then find a way to express them. Which brings me on to my next topic, which is finding healthy ways to express your emotions. Okay, so for me, I like to write. I like to write a lot. I have like hella journals, you know. If you've seen my past videos, I recommend everybody gets a journal and just writes in it when they're feeling down or feeling angry or feeling confused or whatever. You know, it's like a place where you can go and just express yourself the way you want. You know what I'm saying? There's other ways to express emotions. You know, for me, I'm like an artist as well, you know, so sometimes I'll draw, even though I'm not really like a graphic artist or illustrator or anything like that. Photos, you know what I mean? That's another way to express emotions, even though I haven't really figured out a way to express myself through photography other than aesthetically, but that's a different story. Exercise is the biggest one. I think when you exercise, you release a whole lot of tension and a whole lot of stress from your body. You know, I know that the gyms are closed now, so you can't go lift weights and all this shit, but God, dude, I really can't wait till they open up, because ain't nothing like being like just, you know, pissed off about some shit, stressed out about some shit, and taking that emotion and putting it through exercise. You know what I mean? Bruce Lee talks about that emotional content. You know, we all have emotions and we all have the ability to direct those emotions into ways that are beneficial, into ways that are positive. You know what I mean? A lot of the times, you know, people take their emotions and they use it negatively. You know what I mean? And even though I can't really think of some things like right off the top, actually one thing I can is like, you know, let's say you're feeling bad and you know what I mean, like you text, you sent like a rageful text, or you put up a post that is like super depressing, like, you know, now you got people hitting you up like, yo, like, what's wrong, like type shit, you know what I mean? What else? So yeah, I would just start getting a notebook, man, and start writing down how you feel, you know? And also too, like, if you find yourself fighting depression, fighting anxiety, or you just have like really bad temper tantrums, I would say seek help, you know, seek professional help. You know, talk to a therapist, or maybe talk to someone who has an open ear and who is willing to be attentive to your problems, because that is super important. You know, getting like good, like males like need better friends to talk to their emotions about. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the time, man, we can't run to our friends as men, because it's like, oh, you a pussy, or like, oh, like, you know what I mean? You just like, bro, you an idiot. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of bashing sometimes when it comes to like talking to your friends about their emotions, or like the certain things that they're going through. You know, like I have friends who are like, or especially in the black male space, like being a black male, it's really hard to talk to your friends about how you're feeling. You know what I mean? Because you always got to be cool. You always got to keep it, you know what I'm saying, type shit. And the last thing I'm going to say is, if you are to express your emotions, don't do it in an emotional way. Now, what does that mean? Say you're really angry, you know what I mean? You and your girl are getting into it, right? And you're feeling real angry, feeling really ragey about some stuff. What you need to do is you need to go and collect yourself, and then come back and express the way you, like, express why you're mad, but in a practical manner, in a calm manner, you know what I mean? Because you being like, like throwing things, like punching walls, like, bro, that doesn't do anything. If anything, that's gonna make her not even want to engage with you or communicate with you. You know, I think a lot of times as men, we think the more showing out we do, that makes us more of a force to be reckoned with. You know what I'm saying? That gets our point across, when really it doesn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? You need to express yourself in a way that isn't too emotional. You know, so if you're feeling a certain way, you need to collect your thoughts and then figure out how to communicate that feeling. You know, like if you're feeling sad, you need to do it in like a way that is practical. You know what I'm saying? That's like, what I guess what I'm trying to say, man, is like emotions are so powerful, bro. And like as men, we need that kind of like stoicism. You know what I'm saying? I know that we have there are some men with candor, like Tupac, you know, who are just super passionate about certain things. You know what I mean? I know that emotions are sometimes hard to isolate and are hard to kind of communicate with people, but you know, you have to do a better job of that. You know, a man should never ever like be hella emotional. Like the only times I feel like you should be hella emotional is in like death, or like if you like got shot, or like you broke your leg, you know what I'm saying? Or like you got punched in the face really hard, or like, you know what I mean? Like it should only be like when pain or death is inflicted upon you. You know what I'm saying? Those are the only times I really say that you should be emotional. You know, and then you have the right to be emotional. You know what I'm saying? You know, you have the right to cry. But if you crying because your girl cheated on you, bro, like, don't do it in front of her, bro. Don't cry in front of her. Like, I'm telling you, bro, it's like the biggest mistake. Like, don't do it, okay? You know, you found out she's fucking your homeboy, you know, don't cry. Don't try to fight him. You know what I'm saying? So I hope this video helps y'all, man. I definitely want to make more videos on emotions and how to use them to your advantage. So this is Andre the Khan. I hope you enjoy this video. I'm out.